Okay, so we are on part 4 of the series of the top 5 mistakes that entrepreneurs make when they first start out on their business. And I am Brenda Lee, and I have decades of not only personal business ownership experience, but corporate jobs as well. And now corporate team leadership development training and working with all my clients. For whatever reason, even my divorce clients have a tendency to be, well, not a tendency, they all have been high-level executives, C-suites, entrepreneurs, whatever. So my experience in this regard is vast, and I've been able to tap into a lot of people's knowledge. It's not just my knowledge of my experience, but a lot of people's knowledge as well. And so today, what I want to cover, we've already covered the cash flow, we've covered self-accountability, and we've covered self-reflection, right? Having self-awareness about where you're at, where you stand, how to make the best hire, this, that, and the other thing. So today, what I want to talk about, though, is finding and clarifying your absolutely perfect ideal avatar. This is something that I cannot tell you how many network meetings I sit in, how many new business owners I talk to. They have no idea who their ideal client is. Okay, so when we say your client avatar, this is you write down on paper, and you can Google search a client avatar for construction companies or for a business coach or business consulting, whatever. You can Google these sheets. So I don't need to go into that and reinvent the wheel here. Go ahead and get on Google, and you can find client avatar sheets that you can fill out, but get as specific as possible. Oftentimes, I've done worksheets like this, and I've often just written out a story of when my client gets up, this is what time he gets up, he goes and does this is his routine, this is where he goes, he stops at the coffee shop, he gets the newspaper, literally where I just listed out like a day in the life of your client, right? So this gets you crystal clear on who your client avatar is. If you don't know who you're marketing to, if you don't know who you desire to have as a customer, you're never going to find them. The more ambiguous you are, you're like throwing spaghetti on a wall and hoping something sticks, right? But when you're crystal clear, you are dialed in, because here's the other piece of this. I'm sure you've all heard me say this, and I wish I could remember who said this: where energy goes, focus flows. I think it was Joe Dispenza, but I'm not for certain. But where focus goes, energy flows. The more you focus on the ideal attributes of clients that you want, the more you attract those rock star clients. The more you attract, you can do this with employees. What exactly do you want for a new hire? Write it out, and the more you can attract potential employees that actually meet that criteria, right? Okay, so getting crystal clear, getting this written out. If you have a team, collaborate with them. What is it that we want? I said in the last one of the videos how we talked about the ideal team player, how they're humble, hungry, and people smart. When you get really clear with your team and your team is on board of knowing exactly who your client is, now you can market to them. You cannot market to them if you don't know them. You absolutely cannot do this. And this is my number one tip that actually, if I would have known this 3 years ago, it would have saved me tens of stinking thousands of dollars on marketing if someone would have told me this one thing to do. So this is number 2. What you want to do is you want to interview. Now that you've defined your top client, interview 50 of your top clients. Ask them questions like whatever your service is, what would you need? What would you expect? What were their pain points? Why did they need your services? What did they get online and search for Google? Were they doing YouTube searches? If they were, what were the phrases that they were using? All of this, you're literally doing market research. And I'll tell you what, marketing companies don't do this. They will take your money and they will spend, not all, I shouldn't say this, not all. There's some really killer marketing companies out there. I just have apparently yet to find them, okay, where they are throwing spaghetti on the wall, hoping something sticks while taking your money each month when they're not clear on your client avatar and they haven't done the market research. And when I finally asked a marketing company this question, I said, why aren't you doing market research? I said, you're willing to take thousands of dollars of me a month, and you have no idea what's going to work or not work. Because what he said to me, he said, we find the winnable words. And I said, well, how do you find the winnable words? He's like, well, it just takes time. This is like for search engine optimization, all that kind of stuff. He's like, it just takes time. And I was like, hold up. So you're willing to take my money for 3-6 months, a year, and you're going to just wait 6+ months before you actually have the winnable words and you finally have deduced it out? And he's like, yeah, that's how we figure it out. And I said, why aren't we doing market research? And he said, unless you're a huge company and you've got tens of hundreds of thousands of dollars, you can't do market research. It's just way too expensive. And I thought to myself, hold up. because I had just got done doing this. I did it myself because I was so frustrated. I literally put pause on my business and taking on new clients for 2 months because I thought, if I don't get crystal clear about this, I'm going to keep banging my head against the wall trying to figure out, wasting money, time, effort, energy, all of it on strategies that don't work, right? And quite frankly, this is how I learned is the marketplace did not even know that divorce recovery was a thing. You consumers had no idea. Every single one that I interviewed had no clue that that was even a thing, that that was an option. So now I'm faced with this strategy of, do I educate an entire market about divorce recovery, and what's the time frame that's going to take? What's the expense? Now that I know this about them, that they don't even know, they're not searching for divorce recovery, which is what all of my marketing companies thought they were doing, right? And so I had run through 3 different marketing companies that they all did the same thing. They're trying to optimize SEO, which is search engine optimization, if you don't know what that is, for divorce recovery, and nobody's even looking for it. Okay, so it wasn't until I did this research with 50 people, and the fact that I have gone this far and gone this long and nobody has mentioned this, I'll tell you who mentioned it. It was Sunny Lenarduzzi that mentioned it. She is absolutely the top YouTube guru chick on the planet. I love her. And she's the one that recommended it. And I'm just thinking, holy crap, her program, just from that one nugget alone, was absolutely worth the time, effort, expense, everything. Because until we know what the market is looking for, hunting and wanting, we have no idea what to do with our marketing dollars, where to spend our energy, or where to put any of our efforts. Okay, so cultivate a list, curate a list of questions that you can ask people and interview 50 people. It took me 50 hours. I mean, maybe 60, 65 hours total by the time I hunted and researched and messaged back and forth and sent. And you know, people often said, like, well, what, somebody asked me this in a networking meeting a couple weeks ago. He's like, well, what did you give them? And I was like, nothing. Like, I just gave them, like, I'm of the abundance mentality where everything comes full circle, where if I can help someone, I am hands down willing to help them. And I just trust and assume and attract people who are willing to do that too. So, because they were like, you took an hour of their time, they're C-level executives and da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, yeah, yep, they sure were. And if I had an opportunity to coach them or guide them or give them any input, I abso-freaking-lutely did that on the phone call. And that's just, I mean, I don't even think twice about that. That's just what we do, right? And so when you get the right people and you get the right people on the phone, it's a symbiotic relationship where you're both just naturally giving. This doesn't have to be some referral program or here's a gift card or whatever. I mean, we're all in the same pool here. We're all playing the same game. We're all the same. We're all affecting each other's lives, and so we just collaborate and cooperate together. And that's my mentality about that. So some people will prefer to do, you know, like a gift card or some kind of gift or something. By all means, go for it. For me, that's just not the way I work. That's not the relationship that I have with people. So we just give and give and give. If there's any opportunity to give, it's always on the table to give that to people. So anyway, so my point is, though, is that if you take those 50 hours, you really drill down. Now that you know your client avatar, drill down, save yourself tons of money on marketing by doing this yourself. Get it figured out. Because here's the other caveat. Nobody knows. This is why I chose to do this instead of having my VA do it. Nobody knows my business like I do. Nobody knows my clients like I do. Nobody knows what they've gone through. And quite frankly, they were sharing things with me that even though I was submersed in it, I didn't expect to hear from them. And it totally changed and altered the trajectory of my business completely and how I market and how I go about it. Okay. So get really clear on your avatar. Go through, find 50 of those ideal clients and ask around. Just ask people, put a message out on Facebook. I put messages out on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on everything. I did a poll. I did all kinds of stuff like, hey, who's willing to share with me what your experience has been, right? And people are always willing. First of all, they love to talk about themselves, right? And it's not a selfish thing. Excuse me, I really think it's just people want to be known and they want to be heard. So they're willing to share their story. And so they're eager. I had people who were absolutely eager to share and talk with me about it. And like I said, it radically changed the trajectory of my business. So the third thing is once you get that data, build a spreadsheet, build out, like on your questions, build out like, okay, what were the phrases they were talking about? What were their pain points? What were common complaints? Once you have this all on a spreadsheet, now you can start to see themes and you can start to see patterns of people. And again, now you evaluate that data and now you can pivot accordingly. If you don't have that data, you can't make adjustments. You're just kind of like throwing a feather in the wind, hoping it's going to land next to you and that it's going to be worthwhile. When you've got the data and you've got the black and white proof in front of you, you're not scrambling or guessing or questioning anymore. You're really able to pinpoint, you're really able to get down to the bottom line of what you need, of what you want, of what trajectory you need to take now with your business. All right, so if you love these tips, if this is helpful for you, subscribe to the channel. Click on the bell to get notified when we put up new content. Like the video and share it if you've got somebody who you think is going through this and this could be helpful for. All right, we'll see you in the next series, the next video, which will be part 5. And yeah, I can't wait to unpack that one. I'm actually saving the best for last. So we'll see you in part 5 with some seriously good stuff.